guys, I'm Abigail and welcome back to my channel. If you watched my video last week, you remember that I was testing out these dual end markers by Pen & Gear and comparing them to Copic markers. This is the second part to that. In the first part, I colored that picture right there 2 times, one with Copic, one with Pen & Gear, and this week I am coloring the next half. So let's get started. So as you saw last time, I have my sheet where I swatched all the colors and was testing out. Well, unfortunately, there was no skin tone or really any semblance of a light color at all. My friend got lucky. There was some darker brown, so her skin was able to be a little, natural looking, I guess. I, on the other hand, because that's who the picture is of, it's of me and my friend. I, on the other hand, was not quite so lucky. I look so very orange and pink and oh goodness, and there was just no fixing it. Although I do think it turned out a lot better than it could have, I would say. The skin, it wasn't perfect, but it was better. It was better than I thought it was going to be. And I decided to give myself red lips. And then I color my eyes. So for this one, the color palette was very different. I went with mostly the black and grays with some splashes of red. And I do have to say, I enjoyed coloring my character more than my friends. I don't know if it was the colors and the way the colors that I used, the grays, were the way they interacted, but I was very happy with it. And there was a light enough gray to color, so if you've watched Game of Thrones at all, my husband and I watched that, oh goodness, a couple years ago, and I was obsessed with their, cloaks that they wore with the, fur on the edge, which is what mine is inspired by, and I didn't want it to be really dark, because I knew I wanted the cloak itself to be dark, so I didn't also want the fur to be very dark, and they had a really nice light gray that actually worked fantastic. The only thing I didn't like is, besides the skin, they also were very short on natural hair color colors, so my hair is very bright fluorescent yellow in this, and that is just not quite the case. And if you saw, I accidentally messed up and colored the one hand with the peach color when I had originally drawn me wearing gloves. So I had to go back over and add the gloves. But here I am starting to color the fur. And at first I was maybe just going to kind of texture it, but I realized there wasn't a lot of other colors to kind of blend in with it. So I just colored it solidly. And my character was wearing kind of a little corset, and I decided to make that a really, really bright, blood red, and I really did enjoy it. I think from the neck down, this character actually turned out really well. The colors worked really well. I used later on you do see it, I use a darker purpley, kind of maybe the magenta color from that I use over on the other piece to kind of shade the red, give it a little dimension, and it turned out really awesome. But from the neck up, it was awful. No skin tones, really only bright colors for hair. And honestly, these might be a great addition to somebody's collection, on top of a few markers you already have. Say maybe you go and you splurge for a skin tone set in the Copic markers or any other kind of, brush marker brand that maybe is a little nicer, and then you can fill in the gaps with these colors. I think that'd be a really great idea. I didn't hate them, I didn't love them, but that is also because I have only ever, always used Copics. I started buying Copics when I was 16. I had my first job, and with every paycheck, I would go to Hobby Lobby, and I would buy 2 to 3 Copic markers, and let me tell you, building the collection, I started with a really, really awful set of markers. They actually looked very similar to this, but they were from Barnes & Noble, of all places, and the ink in them Oh man, the colors were really nice. They had some pretty pretty nice lighter colors, but they bled like crazy, and the tips were not very durable, and they like frayed before I could finish. Really, I didn't even use them that long, and they were garbage. But anyway, if you want to hear about how I colored the other character and how I felt about how those markers interacted for that, feel free to head on over to my channel. It was the video just before this. And if you like my art, like my style, like me, oh my god, maybe you do, feel free to subscribe. That would make my day. I am back making videos. I had taken a quick break. By quick, I mean a few month long break. I was just feeling really burnt out. I was trying to juggle lots of social medias and different kinds of content while also adding products to my store. And so I took some time and I focused solely on the store. And so if that, fun stickers and prints interest you, head on over to my Etsy. I do have the link in the description. I sell bullet journal stickers, prints of my work, and laptop stickers, lots of fun stuff. I am brainstorming today actually, bookmarks, so those will be added soon, hopefully as well. And the pants, back to the drawing, I should say. The pants, I did struggle a little bit, and that was more on my end than it was on the marker end. And that was just because I hadn't quite decided what color I wanted to do the pants. I was thinking maybe lighter, or like try to make them really, really like dramatically, like almost as if they were like leather and like really shiny. But I wasn't enjoying like the high contrast just in the pants. It just seemed like everything else I was coloring in a little bit more of a flat style, and then I go and I made like the pants so much more detailed than the rest, and it didn't sit well with me. So I kind of went back in and I darkened it up and blended the colors out a bit more, so that way it would match the rest of the piece. And if I would have known though, also once I color the cloak, it kind of brings it all together. I really think maybe I should have done that first, because coloring the cloak, like I knew what color I wanted that might kind of help set the tone for the rest of the piece. And I didn't know what color to do the boots, so I just decided to do matching brown boots with my bestie. But I did give us different kinds of boots. I thought that was fun. So a little bit about the artwork, why I created it. My friend and I were joking about kind of a bad friend we'd had in the past, and how they really kind of affected who we are still now, even though it's years and years later. And we were joking about how that person was like our villain origin story, and so then I kind of was drawn to make us as villains, and so that is my friend and I as villains. And we definitely have different personalities, although still very similar, but different styles definitely. And yeah, so and I thought though knee-high boots are like peak villain for me, because neither of us are really like super like girly. Like I feel like there's kind of villains where you got kind of the badassy queen, killer kind of villain, but then you also have, kind of the femme fatale kind of woman where she's, maybe really got the really sexy dress on. Neither of us were like that, and I feel like that kind of villain perfectly fine in heels. Me, however, and her, I'm not sure. That like little black stilettos would have been our thing. So knee-high boots, ideal. That is peak villain. And so here I am. I start coloring the cloak, and I am almost done with the pen and gear marker side. And a little bit about these markers, I could not find them on Walmart, but Walmart is where I bought them. Like I was looking on walmart.com, but I could not find them. They were in the back to school section of my Walmart, and they are alcohol markers. They smell like alcohol markers. They act like alcohol markers. They have a bullet nib on one side, chisel nib on the other. There was 24 colors in the pack, and I think it was maybe $25-ish, about that price point. But I could not find them online, like I said. Otherwise, I would have linked them. But You might be able to check out Walmarts near you if they still have them. But overall, not too bad. I will be starting the Copic drawing soon. And not much to say besides just the fact that they've got much better skin tone. Honestly, I have no complaints when it comes to Copics. I think the only thing is that they're expensive. And refills are expensive. And I'm too cheap to buy more. So sometimes I do have issues with ink running out. But I am going in with a white gel pen right now to add some details, and then I'll be moving to the Copic piece. I will be giving you a break to just listen to some beautiful music, and I'm going to shut my trap for a little bit because I've been talking for 10 minutes straight. So enjoy. So overall, the Copic, the colors, wow, cat got my tongue, huh? Overall, I was able to match the Copic colors pretty well to the pen and gear ones. That was something I colored the pen and gear first always because there was, more limited colors compared to my Copics. I can't remember. I think I have about 180 Copics now. So I had a lot more, range with color. And just besides the fact that the Copic markers really, really do just kind of glide on smoother, and I had a wider range of colors and they come in more saturated colors, I was able to, kind of make a little bit better of a drawing here. But, not everybody has the money to be able to invest in Copics. I mean, I couldn't go and buy a big pack of Copics. I had to buy mine individually. I think the most Copics I ever bought at one time was 7, maybe. So, yeah, and that was many years ago when I had no bills and lived with my parents, and my job pretty much was only for me to spend money. That's all I had a job for. But now, as I am coloring the very last drawing of this set, you can really start to see the difference between the different characters, the pen and gear versus Copic. And it really is interesting to see, though, how different companies, kind of what they deem a priority to be in their initial sets of colors. Obviously, pen and gear was like, yeah, cool, the bolder, the brighter, the better. And then maybe isn't true. And I do know that there are some other markers I would love to try in the future. I did own a set of Ohuhu markers at one point in time. I didn't ever really get around to using them, and they kind of were a smaller-ish set, and they kind of had the similar problem to these Pen and Gear ones. They were all mid to dark tone and very bright. And I don't use those kinds of colors as often, but I'd love to get my hands on a larger set, specifically one either with or separately the pastel set. I've heard that is a very good set, and I really would be interested in comparing the two with Copic, but I'm sure there are plenty of other videos of other people using Copics. And next time though, I think I will be doing a video comparing some regular old Crayola markers, the washable white barrel ones and super tips, to either these Pen and Gear ones or Copic, depending on how I'm feeling in that day. I'm very excited for that because I used to color with Crayolas like exclusively. Well, it was before I went through phases. I started with Crayola, graduated to Sharpies, and then on to Copics. And that was the best one. The best. So now I am almost done coloring. I'm doing the cloak, which I was able to have a little bit more, the red was just brighter. I really liked it. Honestly, kind of the one time where I was able to pick a brighter color on the Copic side versus the Pen and Gear side. Because usually the Pen and Gear ones were too bright, but in this case they were dark and not what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, they just were very, very dark, not as bright as the Copics. Very descriptive today, huh? So in a minute I am about to go in, and I do add some purple-ish shadows, and that was the one critique I did have with the Pen and Gear ones. Some markers it seemed blended together really well, while others it seemed like just pushed the color around and not necessarily blended together, which gave it kind of a muddy look, it lightened it instead of layering it, which wasn't obviously what I was looking for, whereas the Copic markers do really good with the layering versus pushing away. And I had a very nice darker purple to shade in the red with as well. And that also, I think, the blending thing is probably a bit of, I'm going to use the word formula, not sure that's correct, but just the inherent difference in the markers. Copic's been around a long time to be able to kind of perfect its formula, but anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed watching me color these pieces. I had a great amount of time and fun, and I had a great time doing this, so I hope you guys learned something. If you like these markers, hopefully you can find them at a Walmart near you. That'd be ideal. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell me what you liked about it. I'd love to hear it. And if you want to see other artworks I create, check out my Instagram, my Etsy, where I sell things. And I hope that you have a fantastic day and that you stay safe. And here are the final comparisons up close. Bye!